Before you go live, sometimes you need a swig, not Earl Grey, but you need a swig of Vatra. A very good morning to you. A happy Saturday. Thank you so much for taking time out of your very busy schedule to spend a few minutes with me, with the likes of me. It's a lovely Saturday morning, I must tell you. And, Matilda, God is my strength. Is that your last name, Matilda? Matilda, God is my strength. Guys, you may not know this, but we have a viewer. Her name is Matilda. God is my strength. What tribe is that? What province is that? What district is that? Good morning to you, Matilda. Thank you so much for being with us. Grin Laxwell. Good morning. I need Vatra, sir. You do. Bless you. Go out there and get you some. Go out there and get you some, son. This is not an advert for Vatra. Alfred Njovu says this is not an advert. Martin Venga says happy Sabbath to you. Richard Sims, very clear. Let me finish reading this comment. Very clear sound, and good morning to you, Richard Sims. Thank you for taking the time to be with me, Richard. Thank you. Bless you. Eunice Tracy Mwale, good morning to you. Henna Kapsa, blessed day. Sure, bless you. Suzio West, good morning, Wachitambala. Mwanza Henry says, Mr. Mwewa, please help out this man. Who's that man? Okay. Mark Fish, bless you. Bless you. Thank you so much for being with me for a few minutes. Guys, before I get into my main topic, I have to share this with you because I think it's important for all of us to sort of have context. Always remember that in an election year, in election season, people say things, do things that they wouldn't normally do outside of the sphere of an election year. You must know this. So every political party, they all do it, regardless of, it doesn't matter if you're opposition or if you're the current administration or if you're on the fringes or the periphery. As long as you have some level of participation in politics, you will do everything within your power to gain what they call competitive advantage. For those of you business people, mueba kwatama degrees behind your names. I'm not one of those people. I don't have big lofty degrees, so that you know. All I have is a glib tongue, and that's not much, to be honest with you. But the competitive advantage is that you have one up over your opponent. So you do everything you can to sort of take advantage of the situation. It's the nature of politics. It's not a Zambian thing. It's not an African thing. It's not an American thing. It's a human thing. The heart of man wants to overcome and vanquish his or her opponent, oftentimes at any cost, which, sometimes is not always a good thing. When you're outside of politics, you always hear people say, no, but focus on the issues. Run an issue-based campaign. Who runs an issue-based campaign? We don't do it. The Americans don't do it. The British don't do it. They don't run issue-based campaigns. They run smear campaigns. That's the nature. Just smear your opponent, make him look as bad as possible so that the electorate think twice before they give him or her a vote. It's the nature of politics. For goodness sake. Anyway, I don't want to digress. I want to share with you something and I know I've been reading your comments. Many of you were saying, no, Mr. Muel, those are family issues. You can't bring family issues only the social media. That is washing dirty linen in public. Those things must be done behind those closed doors of yours. Well, the truth is, the issue I'm bringing to you has been in the public domain for many years. It's just that I don't really talk about it. Every once in a while, I'll refer to it, but I don't focus on it. Okay, and the only reason I'm bringing it up today is because it is an issue of note. The issue has now cropped up again about what role families play or disgruntled family members play in partisan politics. I'll give you an example. Many years ago, when my father was alive, my father decided to educate a young man and his two brothers. Okay? Their father passed away. Their mother didn't have any means to take care of these three boys. And these three boys were loosely connected to my mother. Okay? And, you know, my father was an awesome man. So he told my mother, he said, you know, these boys are going to suffer. So I want you to take them to school and I'll pay for everything. And, okay, people are calling me. I need to switch this off because the phone is not going to stop ringing. All right. So my dad says to this is a true story. Okay, and I'm sharing this with you to demonstrate something. You'll understand why at the end. Now, if you're going to jump on here and start saying to me, well, you can't be revealing those things. Okay? Those are family issues. Don't say that to me because I know what I'm talking about. And there's a reason I'm talking about this. The issue I'm speaking about has been in the public domain for years. Okay, so I'm not revealing any secret. I'm just simply bringing to you what has already been revealed. Okay, and I'm doing this to make a point. So follow me. Okay, follow me. And guys, also don't jump on here and start telling me, well, I just get to the point, get to the cracks, get to the meat of the issue. I'm not doing that. I'm a storyteller. I believe in a beginning, middle, and end. That's the way I roll. If you don't like this, jump off and watch the video later and then fast forward to the end. Okay, so let me speak. Anyway, so my father says to my mother, these three boys are going to suffer. They don't have any means. Send them to school. I'll pay for it. My mother does that, sends them to school. Their entire education from primary all the way up to secondary level, my father paid for that. A few years later, one of those sons started working here at our family business. And then this person started doing this. He would mix politics with business. And one day we were having a meeting and I said to him, I said, you know what? Your brand of politics is very divisive and it's going to bring us problems. I would prefer that you don't bring your politics to work, is what I told him. Oh my goodness, he was furious. So because he was so furious, we decided to fire him. We fired him, okay? Because we didn't want that type of divisive talk. The moment we fired him, oh my goodness, he went on a rampage. He just lost it, went on a rampage. And lo and behold, this guy, I'll tell you who he is. I'll tell you in a moment. It's not a secret. Many of you know exactly who I'm talking about. You probably know exactly who I'm talking about, but I'll tell you who it is. So lo and behold, there was a time when Basata, when he became president, this man that I'm talking about became very close to Basata, extremely close. And so this man started going after Dr. Nevis Mumba. Every chance he got, he would disparage, he would speak ill, he would slander, the original Chilufya Tayali was Cosmo Mumba, in case you didn't know. Before there was any such thing as a Chilufya Tayali, before there was any such thing as a leprechaun, before there was any such thing as a tribalist or a divisive figure in our political sphere and space, before there was any such thing as the married man, there was a man called Cosmo Mumba, and he was devious, still is. So what he used to do is that he would constantly attack Nevis Mumba, who is my uncle. I'll never forget, this is a true story. I've told this. This has been in the public domain. You know, it's been there for years. I'll never forget, one day he wandered into our family home. He staggered into our family home one evening, completely drunk, and he was carrying a dog. A dog. And we didn't want him there. You know, he walked over to my mother, and he was drunk, and he starts to say, I'm on my way to ZNBC, and I'm going to carry this dog. I've been invited on ZNBC to do a show. Okay, this was during Mr. Sata's era, okay, or era. And my mother asked him, he says, well, what's the dog for? He says, I'm going to equate this dog with you know who. You know what my mother said to him? She says, first of all, I don't ever want to see you in this house, first of all. Second of all, if you ever do that, we will go publicly and completely deny that we even know you. We don't support that sort of nonsense. That's ridiculous. Needless to say, he didn't go to ZNBC with the dog. But it just demonstrates to show you, it just shows you how people that call themselves family members, because the truth is, if you really want to know, Cosmo Mumba isn't really my blood relative. Let me break it down for you. And I know some of you are going to say, no, he's still your relative. No, he's not. Cosmo Mumba's adopted father was my uncle. What? Not my, no, it was my grandfather. Sorry, not my uncle. My grandfather. Okay, my grandfather. My grandfather married Cosmo Mumba's mother when she was pregnant with Cosmo Mumba. He's not my blood relative. Okay, you've got my grandfather, his young brother married Cosmo's mother, who was already pregnant. And from a few months after they got married, she gave birth to Cosmo Mumba. This wasn't a secret. It was known in the family. He also knew that. He knew that my grandfather was not his biological father. He knew that. And he was told that. So here it is. You have a guy who went on a rampage to discredit and to cause pain in our family. Still does it today. I mean, every so often, Cosmo Mumba will still come to Simoson Hill. He will park in front of the gate, and he will make a spectacle out of himself. He'll start insulting my father, the man that educated him. He will never deny that. Because it's the truth. My father educated him and his two brothers, his half-brothers. He has two half-brothers. My mother used to say to him, when he would come to my mother to insult my mother, she would always turn to him and say, even the English you speak it because of my husband. My husband educated you. The same mouth you're using to insult me and my late husband, when you go on television and you speak English, that English you use is courtesy of my late husband because he educated you. So, my point is this. Not everyone that calls themselves a relative is a relative. When you see people being paraded on TV and they start talking about, no, no, this man is this man is that. So what? Who owes you a living? We don't owe Cosmo Mumba a living. We don't. There are many of you that have family members that crop up at your home. They think they're entitled to your hard-earned livelihood. They think they have a stake in your estate, but they don't. They're just family members. And sometimes family members demand things that they do not deserve or that they are not entitled to. That is a fact. Stick that in your pipe, honey, and smoke it. It's real. You should say something. Let that sink in. Let that sizzle in your spirit. There's some family members that are so devious, so cunning. The moment the patriarch dies, the patriarch being, let's say, the head of the home, when the patriarch dies, there's certain family members that are so evil, that are so hell-bent on destroying the widow and the children's lives, that they will come in like a storm, like a volcano, and destroy everything in their wake to tear your family apart, to get what they don't deserve, to grab what they are not entitled to, simply because they call themselves your relatives. Nonsense, hogwash, bull roar. So the next time you have a family member that goes on television and calls you evil, calls you selfish, calls you stingy, you look at that family member and say, get away from me, get behind me, you foul spirit of division, you. That's what you do. That is what you do. Throw them under the bus. There's a difference between family and loyalty. There are people out there, true family members, that are wonderful people, that are supportive, that truly love you for who you are. But then there's those family members who have an agenda. They are devious. They're waiting in the wings. They're like sharks in the sea, sniffing out blood to devour you the moment the opportunity presents itself. There are people like that. And they call themselves your relative. They're not your relatives. They're demons. They're despots. They're vagabonds. They are vile human beings. Don't pay attention to them. Just do your thing, brother. Just do your thing. You do you and let them do them. Boom. Okay, that's it. That's all I'm going to say about that. Okay. I digress. The reason I've come to you today is I'd like to respond to the timely arrest of Chilufya Tayali. And it's about time. I must tell you that I want to share something with you very, very important that you all have to understand. And it's this. Oh my goodness, look at that. I said freedom of speed. Do I say about now? Oh my goodness. Ain't that something, boy? There we go. We'll get it right in a moment. Freedom of speech comes with a price. You must know this. There are many of you that are on this high horse of, no, we have freedom of speech. Freedom of speech comes with a price. You know that old famous line in the movie Spider-Man? With great power comes great responsibility. If you've got a microphone that's very loud, then things that you say they can cause a domino effect. Every last one of us, including myself, The digital cyber landscape in this country has changed. The digital cyber landscape in this country has evolved, and we must evolve with it. Pull your head out of the clouds if you think that you can come on social media, me included, that you can come on social media and say whatever the heck you want and there not be any repercussions. Why do you think Mark Zuckerberg and his team have what they call community guidelines? All of these big platforms have it. YouTube has it. Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg has it. Why do you think they do that? Why do you think they have guidelines? Why do you think they have a framework? Why do you think they have a circumference? To put you in check, to put me in check. The guidelines say you can say this, but you can't say this. Can you imagine how ridiculous it would be if you walked up to Mark Zuckerberg and said, Mark, you're infringing upon my right to express myself? What do you think Mark will do? Click. He'll contain you. He will quarantine you. Why? Because Facebook has guidelines. And if you want to operate within the circumference of Facebook, you must comply. You must acquiesce. You must yield to those guidelines. Otherwise, you cease to exist. I've been caught a few times on Facebook. I'll say something on Facebook out of turn. Mark Zuckerberg writes me and says, hey, Mwewa, boom. Na kubika kuwaya. I'm going to throw you under the bus, Mwewa. You can't come up on here and say that. I've been there. We've all been there. So my point is this. Freedom of speech comes with the price. What's the price? Accountability. All of us, we have to be reminded of this. And so it brings me now to this gentleman that calls himself a public lawyer, which he's not. Okay? This is something that he has consistently said on social media, and he has hoodwinked his followers into believing that he's some type of pseudo-public lawyer. He's not. He's an irritant. He's an agitator. He is a despot that is willing to say and do anything in exchange for 30 pieces of silver. Now, here's my point, and I want you to get this. I want this to sink in your spirit. Let this sizzle in your heart. You see, whenever you talk the way he talks, you get to a place where you think you are untouchable and you are invincible. This is the deceptive component of social media and having a number of followers, because many of you followers, you're constant. No, you are saying it. You are the one. No, Mr. President. You aid and abet that type of foolishness. When you jump on social media, there's an element of invincibility. When you're sitting behind a microphone and you are irresponsible with your words, with your rhetoric, with your pontification, there comes a point where you think and feel you are invincible. But the truth is you're not. You're not invincible. You cannot say whatever the heck you want. Okay? Now, here's my point. When it comes to the presidency of this country, when it comes to the Zambian presidency, be very careful how you address the head of state. The presidency is like a brazier. You know what a brazier is? Let me break this down for you. Imbabula. The purpose of a brazier, the brazier has different, not blazier, okay? Because I know some of you, they're blazier. No, it's not a blazier, not with an L, with an R. Brazier, okay? The purpose of a brazier, it has a multifaceted component to it. A brazier can be used to cook, sometimes can be used to provide warmth in the cold. It's providing warmth because it's cold. But if you get too close to the brazier, if you touch the brazier in an inappropriate way, that brazier is going to burn you. That's a little Ebonics for you. Let me say it the correct way. That brazier is going to burn you if you touch it inappropriately. So you must be cautious. It's the way it ought to be. It's got nothing to do with the infringement of your right to say whatever the heck you want. No, it has everything to do with respecting the office of president. Again, granted, presidents are not infallible. Okay? We all know that. Presidents are not perfect. We know that. But there is a level of respect and reverence that we must have towards the head of state. Now, if you have a grievance, follow the right channels to air your grievance. Don't falsely or inaccurately or at the drop of a hat make inflammatory statements that you are not able to prove. Don't be so ambitious. Don't be so overly ambitious that you can say what you want about the head of state without proof, purely based on your hunch. Because this was Tayali. I feel thus and so. This is what he said. Well, that put him in problems because now you're going to have to prove what you're saying. Where is the proof? For you to make such a huge claim, for you to make such a monumental claim, where is the proof of that? So what does it then mean? It means you have to be responsible. You can't jump on social media and go with your gut feeling, especially when you're talking about Ego One, the head of state. You can't go with your gut feeling. And here's the thing. You know what I found amazing about Tayali's rants? Some of you, let me break this down for you because you guys don't know this. And this is the reason you need me to break it down for you. When Tayali was arrested, Tayali doesn't like to have people have one over him. What I mean by that is, if something happens, Tayali wants to be the first person to tell you about him. He doesn't want someone else to tell you about him. You remember a while ago when he said that I cheated on my wife, and he confessed that. He came on social media and he said, you know, I met this lady and I cheated on my wife and I'm sorry that I did and blah, 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 you know. And then you, the followers, you doubted his own words. The mark of a con man is that he can be telling you the truth, but you doubt that truth, which amazes me. And then he saw that you were doubting him, and then he created ambiguity. He sort of created a smokescreen. Did I or did I not cheat? And then he created a division. There were many of you that were on one side that said, no, he didn't cheat. And then many of you on the other side, no, he did. He did that because he knew that he could wrap you around his little finger. Manipulation. The mark of a con man is manipulation. They manipulate the way you think. So he came out with this revelation on his own because he didn't want someone else to reveal this. It's a strategy for him. So he came out with this first. No, I'm the one who cheated on my wife. Then, when he was arrested, he said it first because he doesn't want to be reported on. He wants to create the smokescreen that he is forthright. He comes out with it first. He doesn't want to allow anyone to come out with a revelation before him. So he posts, I've been arrested. Now, here's the thing he said that was very sinister. And you have to read between the lines to understand what he's saying, because many of you don't understand him. I know him like a back of my hand. I know the deviousness of his nature. He writes and he says, I've been arrested simply because I criticized the president. And here's the clincher. I guess they don't want me to be on the ballot. That is the most ridiculous, the most foolish, the most asinine, the most outlandish statement I've heard this side of 2021. Here's a guy that has no capacity to pay the nomination fee, but he attaches his arrest. He's basically saying the head of state is having me arrested because he doesn't want me to be on the ballot because he knows that I am a threat to his presidency. That's what he's saying. If you read between the lines, that is exactly what he's saying. But here's the thing, guys. A con man will say anything to curry favor. Not to carry, to curry. Curry. C-U-R-R-Y. Must I teach you everything? That's what a con man manipulator does. So here's the thing. I'm not happy. I'm relieved. Earlier, somebody wrote a comment saying, well, you must be very happy that your enemy has been arrested. First of all, he's not my enemy, okay? He's not my enemy. I don't consider him as an enemy. I find him to be an agitator. Secondly, I'm not happy. I'm relieved. There's a difference. I'm not sadistic, y'all, okay? When you say I'm happy, what you're saying is if I saw him die or if I saw him being run over with a car, that I'd be happy. No, I'm not sadistic. I'm relieved. Happy is the wrong word. And I told the person in the comments earlier, I said, you've used the wrong word because he came, no, well, you must be happy. No, happy is the wrong word. You've misapplied the word. What you're supposed to say is you are relieved. Yes, I am. Because I've said for a long time, Tayali is an agitator. He's a tribalist. Okay. He's divisive. He's very polarizing. And he's up to no good. And he will do everything within his power to defame you in exchange for 30 pieces of silver. That's his MO. It would be one thing if he talked to you out of principle. He claims he does, but he never does. It's never about principle. It's always about the boudin. It's always about the moolah. It's always about the chapa. Umuzulu. Money is his motivating factor. Do you get that? Now, here's my last point, and then I'll open the lines for you to call me. You can call me on this number. I'll show you now. Here's my last point. What is my last point? All right. Tayali touts himself as the moral beacon of our society, when really, truly speaking, he is the quintessential personification of rot, filth, and degradation. Those three things. Now, I know it's very difficult for many of you to absorb that because, you know, Zambians by nature, they love the underdog. Zambians, when they see someone down, they don't want to punch them. You know, it's just the nature of Zambia. Zambians are good-hearted people. When they see you down, they don't want to see anyone else beat you up. But it's the truth. The guy goes on social media and he talks about, I'm putting checks and balances and this corruption issue here and about Chishimba Kambwili and this, that, and the other. But you look at his life, it's strewn with issues of rape, issues of child molestation, issues of incest, issues of domestic violence, issues of so many things. And here's the one guy that you guys think is the moral beacon. He is not the moral beacon. He's not. He is the most quintessential decayed individual on social media that I have ever seen on this side of the hemisphere. Let that sink in. I know that's tough for you to absorb, but you'll thank me years from now. Maybe not now. Maybe you won't You won't like what I'm saying now, but eventually you will. You'll see it eventually. All right, you guys can call me if you'd like. You know, here's my number. How long have I been speaking for? Goodness. 35 minutes? You guys have been sitting there listening to me for 35 minutes? Sounds like a lifetime. All right. Call me on that number. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. I need to set it up. You know how they do? They tell you, set it up here. I'm going to connect it. I always forget to do this, and then I end up having to do it anyway. All right. Roadcaster Pro. It's going to tell me in a moment. It's going to say here. It's going to say, is it connecting? Roadcaster Pro connected for calls and audio. So we're ready to rock and roll. Give me a call on that number and tell me what you think about the two issues that I've discussed today. And I'm going to share some of your comments here. I think it was intended to be humorous. Okay, I don't know what that means. Hey there.
Hello, Uncle Simon. Good morning.
Hey, man. How's it going?
It's going great. This is Stanley calling you from Luansha.
From Luansha?
Yes, I'm becoming a regular caller, you know.
Oh, fantastic. I have a friend of mine who's running for MP over there in Luansha. Please go ahead.
Yes, you mentioned it last time. Okay. On Tayali, I think Tayali is having a taste of his own medicine.
Yes.
So because you can't talk like that as if you're trying to shout at your little boy when you're talking to the head of state.
Yes.
The tone in his voice. You don't talk like that. Yeah.
What moral?
No matter how much you disagree with the head of state, you cannot talk to him like that.
No.
Respect has to be maintained.
Yes.
Thank you very much. That's all I wanted to say.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate the call.
Thank you.
Bless you. Yeah, and that's the other thing. You know, he has this aura of, I posted an audio tape. He was having some type of conflict on the phone with some guy. Did you hear the insolence in his voice? I can F you up and all this stuff. I mean, that he talks like he's the be all and end all. Hello.
Hello.
A very good morning.
Morning to you.
How are you?
Is that Mr. Simon Well?
Yes, it is. Please go ahead.
Yes. I'm live on your program.
Okay. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
You want to find out something from you have to find out from Cosmo Mumba.
Yes.
They call him Dr. Cosmo Mumba. Is he doctor or what?
No, he's not. He's not. That's the other thing. Let me explain that. I'm so glad you brought that up. Let me explain that. He claimed he went to a school in Congo, and he obtained this doctorate. To this day, nobody knows the name of that school. Nobody knows where it's located. Nobody knows whether it was accredited or not, which we know it's not accredited. He just came back claiming that he had attended an institution in the Congo, and he came back with the title of doctor. Now, in Zambia, it's very common for people to bestow upon themselves the title of doctor and people not ask questions. In our friends developed countries, you cannot use the word doctor without journalists asking you, show us where you obtained your doctorate.
Exactly.
What institution did you attend? What credited institution did you attend? But in Zambia, nobody cares about that. I mean, a person can just wake up right now in Zambia and call themselves doctor. Nobody's going to fact check it. Nobody's going to cross check it. They'll just, and this is the thing, brother. This is what annoys me. Sorry to cut you off, but you've really touched a raw nerve for me. This is what annoys me. Even in the press, when they're quoting him, Daily Mail, Daily Nation, they refer to him as doctor. The most ridiculous. This is the reason I never call him doctor. I always say Cosmo Mumba. And here's another revelation. Let me tell you. You may not know this. Cosmo is not even his real name.
Okay.
His real name is Collins, but he didn't like the name Collins, so he changed his name to Cosmo. It's a sad story. Ridiculous. It's a sad story. Yeah. So that's the answer to that question.
No, thank you very much for the clarification. Thank you.
Thank you, brother, and thank you for bringing that up. Thank you for. I've always wanted to bring that up, but thank you for reminding me of that.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Bless you. You too. Yeah, that's the other thing. People, journalists, our friends in America, in England, and all. You call yourself a doctor, and you are a so-called politician. It's like Tayali. Tayali calls himself the public lawyer. Sure, he admits that he's not a qualified lawyer, but the point is you can't use those titles indiscriminately. Let me reveal something to you. And you know, this is the truth. Some of you may not like it, but it's the truth. It really irked me the wrong way whenever I would hear Tayali talk about lawyer. I called Laz and I said to them, why do you allow this guy to use the word lawyer? Why? He is diluting. He is watering down the prestigious, honorable title of a lawyer when he uses the word, I'm a public lawyer, the public lawyer in the realm and the sphere of public opinion. Nonsense. This is where we lose it. When you allow people to use titles like that, prestigious, people work hard to get those titles. People work tirelessly. You think Tayali is easy? Look at the number of young people that fail that exam. But look at the number of people that pass it. They've earned it. They've earned the prestigious title of lawyer, and they stand proud. And then you've got some joker, some jamoke that comes on Facebook and calls himself a lawyer. Come on, guys, let's be real. Let's be real. Goodness. Listen to this. Fred says, Pazed, even Inganda is doctor. Yes, it's true. It's crazy. Yeah, that was his name. Some people don't know that. That was his given name. He didn't like that name, so he gave his name. He gave himself the name Cosmo. Hello.
Hello, Mr. Moore.
Hello to you, sir.
I'm good. How are you?
I'm well. Where are you calling us from?
Lusaka.
Yeah, but you've got like a. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Mr. Moore, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
What you said about Ba family, like almost everything is true. But you mentioned your father raising or helping Cosmo to get educated.
Yes.
So I'm looking at it, my family members that you call this granddaughter. If somebody cannot help when Ali close to them, I mean, we're Africans. When you get money as Africans, my family members that are down. Okay? So if it tells you, saying, I want to help you, but I can't go to what would you think about that person?
Sorry, ask the question again. I didn't get that last part.
Yes, I'm talking about the Kanya, my family members.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm asking if a person comes and says, I want to save the world. If not, then these are more family.
Yes.
But is able to help people that are close to him.
Yes.
What would you think about that person?
Well, I would say there are issues there, and you'd probably have to ask, why does he say that? Why does he say? Because there are people like that. There are people that are very good at helping everybody else outside the family, but they never help their own family members. There are people like that, but you have to ask, why are they that way?
Yeah.
It's not. Let me respond by saying this, son. It's not a one size fits all. It's not. There's no blanket. There's no blanket reason. You have to find out from him or her specifically. Sit down and ask them. But why do you do it this way? They'll probably give you a backstory that you're not unaware of. But then again, there are other people that they're just like that. They are fine with helping the world, but they don't help their own relatives. It happens. It's real. It happens.
Yeah, but they say chosaka mwito kwako ukabotaka mzako. Sito.
Yeah, that's true.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's true. It happens,
So
and it's
he or she is supposed to help out the person that's closer to them first.
no.
We try and save the world.
No. We are making a mistake when we say supposed to. He's not obliged to. He can if he wants to.
Oh no, he's not. He's not. He's not.
He's
Yes,
not. No. He's not obliged to. He can if he wants to, but he's not bound to. Yeah. He can choose to do.
No,
The issue here is that it's a moral obligation. It's a moral obligation. It's not a legal obligation. In other words, if he doesn't do it, nobody can take him to court and say, "You didn't help me. I'm your relative." But someone someone can appeal to his conscience and say, "Look, morally, you could help me if you can." But then again, it goes back to that thing. He has to tell you why he chooses to do that.
And that's all I had to ask you. Otherwise, I love your show. I watch you every single day.
Thank you, son. Bless you.
Yeah, God bless you.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
All right. Yeah, I mean, it happens. It happens. It happens. All right, let's read this comment. Chandwe says, his arrest is poetic justice. He likes to feel large and in charge, so he has to pay the price. It just goes to show you guys, and I agree with this comment, it goes to show you that every one of us, including myself, I'm not exempt, including myself, we all have a responsibility. These platforms that we have, especially now with the new laws, man, we have to be careful with what we say and who we say it about. I mean, here it is. Tayali was talking about the army. The army. That you are in no position to talk about national security issues. There's the Ministry of Defense. That's why they're there. Who are you to start accusing the army of something? If indeed there is something, there are channels to follow. You can't alarm the nation by just saying anything you want. Careful. And I speak to myself as well. It applies to me as well. I have to be careful, Okay, here's a good question. So you mean you grew up in the same house with Cosmo? No. He was in another house somewhere, but my father paid for their education. We didn't live in the same house, But again, you must understand, he's not a blood relative. And I know some of you are going to have issues with that. You're going to say, no, but he's still your relative. No. The very fact that he's not a blood relative and then he did what he did puts us in a position to make sure that we did away with him. We ejected him because, we were saying to him, well, first of all, there is no blood connection. Second of all, we helped you, but you're not being appreciative. You're out here trying to destroy us. So we don't need you here. You are an element of division. That guy, after my father passed away, that guy almost caused major issues in our family. And we recognized that. And collectively, we got rid of him. That is the deviousness and the dangerous quality that guy has. I speak about this openly because it's the truth. And I know this is helping someone out there. It's the truth. It happened. That's how it happened. And I would also warn the current administration, don't bring this guy close to your bosom. He's dangerous. The original divider in this nation was Cosmo Mumba. The original tribalist in this nation was Cosmo Mumba. Tayali simply took over from Cosmo. Let me tell you the difference between Tayali and Cosmo. Cosmo Mumba didn't know how to use Facebook. He was too ignorant to use it. He didn't know the power of Facebook. He used to dabble with it, play around with it, but he didn't know the power. Tayali, on the other hand, knew the power of Facebook. He saw it for what he knew. He said, I can use this tool. I can use this tool to be a divisive voice in this nation. He knew. Cosmo didn't know. He was too ignorant to understand the power of Facebook. All right. And that's the truth. All right. Oh, somebody says, give me a number I call. Okay. Let me put it up. I'll get two more phone calls from you. I've been speaking for 51 minutes. We're going to close in 9 minutes, guys. So if you'd like to call me, call me. Give me a comment, contribution, or question, they say. There's the number. Call me. And then in the process, excuse me, I'm going to throw up a couple of your comments. Yes, I've already done that. I've already blocked him. Yeah, I've already done that. Hello.
Hello, Mr. Mwa.
A very good, what is it? Is it still morning? It's still morning. Goodness.
I should think so, yeah.
Yes, sir. Go ahead. Who am I speaking with?
This is Kazembe calling you from Quito.
Kulishani kukitwe mwe.
How Quito could you feel we know?
Kukopoa.
Sure.
Go ahead, brother.
Yeah. No, I just want to applaud you for the topics that you're bringing up and the maturity and wisdom that you're exhibiting in these various topics that you're sharing.
Well, thank you, brother. I appreciate that.
Yes. For a long time, I think some of us, it's been an eyesore to watch Tayali manipulate people, manipulate his audience, and at the same time manipulate to some extent even the system.
Yes.
By the various antics that he does display. So we've always wondered how people can be so gullible and follow him. And you really describe him like who would want him to be described, like I would describe him. Thankfully, you always do that, and you've got an audience. And I'm really grateful that you are doing that great job.
Thank you, brother.
Indeed, now that he's been arrested, I just hope that he is stopped. I hope that the system goes after him and they stop him and they see him for who he is. A crook, a leprechaun, like we call him, somebody who is able to cause disturbance and can cause a war, a tribal war, as you call it.
Oh, absolutely.
He's capable of doing that.
Definitely.
Yes. So the system should be able to see that and stop him, stop the nip in the bud before it gets big. So I'm really grateful, and I've been following the program, and we'll continue following you and we'll continue supporting you. Thank you very much.
Bless you. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it.
Thank you. All right.
Yeah, and the component, you know, there was a time he really felt that he was untouchable. That because he would say things that would sort of stroke the ego of the current administration, he thought he was untouchable. But the truth is, he's not. He's not above the law. When you break the law, stuff happens. And I've always complained that you can't have a guy that touts the tenets, not tenants, tenets of fair play, justice, accountability, but he himself doesn't abide by those things. I mean, the guy, if you read his ex-wife's suit, when she sued him for divorce, the things that she outlined in that suit, horrible, horrific things. That, you know, this is a guy that was mentally abusive to me. This is his first wife used to say this. Again, I'm not slandering him. This is in the public domain. The court documents are public documents. So don't sit there and tell me that, oh, you're revealing. I'm not revealing anything that isn't already made public. It's already in the public domain, for goodness sake. Here it is. You have a guy, the ex-wife repeatedly complained that this man sleeps with his niece. He calls me mental anguish, physical abuse, a litany of things. And this is the same man that stands on the mountaintop. This is the same man that stands on the mountaintop and he talks about accountability. He talks about fair play. He talks about justice. He's not a hypocrite. He's a deviant. In his mind, he doesn't see anything wrong with himself. He is the personification of a narcissist. And a narcissist is dangerous because they don't see the error of their ways. Umuntu abanomo ngamwamweba alomfwa yokwena chine apanindufyanya munjeleleko muntu abanomo nomba umuntu uaba narcissistic vaiva muchisungu tetia chimonecho tetia kwanishe. Someone can't afford ukuchita realize that umwine nave mbuka, self-righteous, self-absorbed. They don't see the error of their ways. And when you point out the error of their ways, they are blind to it. Eudia. And I know many of you don't like that. Some of you don't like that, especially those hoodwinked followers. Many of you are hoodwinked followers. You just blindly follow him. And then you call him. You know, I was in the mayor's office the other day. Some of you watched the video. Because, you know, the mayor is a bridge builder. Miles Sampa? Are you kidding? That guy, he loves to build bridges. I'm in the mayor's office, and I referred to Tayali as Ka Tayali. Now, this is a man that has written countless scathing articles about Mr. Sampa. Horrible things. When I called Tayali Ka Tayali, the mayor checked me. He said, no, Mr. Waya, retract that. Don't say Ka. Just say Mr. Tayali. You know, of course, you know, I retracted in his office, but in my heart, I was thinking Ka. That's true. What, you want me to pretend? I'm not going to pretend. It's the truth. All right. Nathan says, Naimweka no mote sana. Is that right? All right, Nathan. Let's do this. Hold on 1 second, Nathan. There you go, Nathan. Boom! Hello? Hello?
Hello.
A very good morning, sir. You're live on SML TV. Mkwai.
All right.
Morning, Mr. Moore.
A very good morning to you, sir. Who am I speaking with?
Yeah, this is Gift.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Yes. Thank you so much for bringing this topic.
Yes, sir.
I'm so happy to listen and follow the program.
Yes, sir.
Yes. I've been following Tayali's page or platform, and it's good that you are helping us now to see other things. But before that, I'd trimmed myself out of the page because I think that this person is not good for us.
Mm.
And in Zambia, most of the time, it's like we put applause to people that divide our nation.
Yes.
If we had to follow our theme, we say a Christian nation.
Mm.
And what I know about Christianity, it's about building each other.
Yes.
But if you're not careful with this person, you divide us, and they will create bloodshed in this world,
Mm.
in our country, I mean.
Yes.
So I urge everyone, be it Tayali or whosoever that comes, let us think of coming together, not to divide just for political mileage.
Yes.
Otherwise, this is the Zambia for everyone, not for a certain group, but for everyone.
Fue bonse tulibera Zambia bonse fye.
Bonse tulibera Zambia, and whether Mtonga, Chipata, Ila, what we are Zambia. This is why we have about 75 tribes.
Yes.
So we need to come together and let us shoot off these who are trying to divide us. Let us also respect the leaders in administration at that particular moment.
Yes.
Because if we're not going to respect each other, even us tomorrow will be leaders, and who is going to respect us? We'll do the same thing. And moreover, we are looking at the youth. The majority of us Zambians were youth who are following these big people. And now we are using social media to divide the youth, to divide everyone. Then we are not building a good Zambia, and we are giving a bad reputation to other countries. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Michael.
Thank you. Guys, God bless. It's an hour. We're done. That's all I had time for. God bless you. Thank you for watching. Peace.